Hey YTPC, this is Dave coming to you from the paddock in Southern Maryland. This is a follow-up to Greg, because Greg got us started with these bad boys, right? So he was kind enough to send me one. He didn't even keep one for himself. So I'll be sending him one, because what I wanted to show you was we got 25 more. 25 are in the bag. So it's time to increase our membership in the YTPC Team Freedom. So I'd like to send these out. If I send out these 25, I'll order 25 more, and we'll just keep going until we see how big Team Freedom wants to be. So hopefully Team Freedom is more than a keychain to you. Hopefully it means you have a certain set of beliefs that would like to see the Western world head back to a more freedom, rights-based way of running our countries. Hopefully it's not just going to sit on your desk. Hopefully you'll incorporate this concept, this key ring, into some of your videos. Let's get a little active oriented. Let's get some conversation going. Let's show that there's more people that are concerned about this than maybe people realize. And I'm going to read to you. Some of you've written and said, what can we do? What is there any light at the end of this tunnel? And I think I found one. So I'm going to read you. It's one page long. It's kind of long, but bear with me. If you're not willing to listen for a couple of minutes while I read what I think is something pretty cool, you may need to step up your freedom game. I'm going to read a declaration to you. It's signed by 231 current active uniformed people in our military. This is a U.S. story, but maybe it will grow. I'm going to read the declaration to you. I've signed it. Then I'll tell you where to go and how to become part of this if you wish to put your name officially on something kind of risky. This is dated 1 January 2024, an open letter to the American people from the signatories of this Declaration of Military Accountability. Starts out with a quote. Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other type. Signed, that's John Adams. In the course of human events, it sometimes becomes necessary to admonish the lawless, encourage the faint-hearted, and strengthen the weak. We have reached just such a time in our history. The affairs of our nation are now steeped in avaricious corruption, and our once stalwart institutions, including the Department of Defense, are failing to fulfill the moral obligation upon which they were founded. Standing upon our natural and constitutional rights, we hereby apprise the American people that we have exhausted all internal efforts to rectify recent criminal activity within the armed forces. In the Declaration of Independence, our founding fathers sought separation. We seek no separation, but through this letter and the efforts we pledge herein, we pursue restoration through accountability. We intend to rebuild trust and restore the rule of law, particularly within the armed forces. Ultimately, we strive to once again become a moral people, restoring our nation and making it again worthy of the great gift of liberty won by the colonial-era American people. While implementing the COVID-19 vaccine mandate, military leaders broke the law, trampled constitutional rights, denied informed consent, permitted unwilling medical experimentation, and suppressed the free exercise of religion. Service members and families were significantly harmed by these actions. Their suffering continues to be felt financially, emotionally, and physically. Some service members became part of our ever-growing veteran homeless population. Some developed debilitating vaccine injuries. Some even lost their lives. In an apparent attempt to avoid accountability, military leaders are continuing to ignore our communications regarding these injuries and the laws that were broken. He then lists all the people that he believes were part of it. General Miley, Admiral Grady, General McConneville, Admiral Gilday, Admiral Lesher, General Brown, General Berger, General Smith, Vice Admiral Kilby, Vice Admiral Noel, Vice Admiral Fuller, Lieutenant General Martin, Lieutenant General Davis, General Edmondson, General Williams, Admiral Fagan, Vice Admiral Buck, Lieutenant General Clark, General Francis, Lieutenant General Dingle, Lieutenant General Miller, Rear Admiral Gillingham, and numerous others. The names are actually listed in the Declaration. These individuals enabled lawlessness and the unwilling experimentation on service members. The moral and physical injuries they helped inflict are significant. They betrayed the trust of service members in the American people. Their action caused irreparable harm to the armed forces and the institutions for which we have fought and bled. These leaders refused to resign or take any other action to hold themselves accountable, nor have they attempted to repair the harm their policies and actions have caused. Since there is yet to be any accountability, the undersigned give our word to do everything morally permissible and legally possible to hold our own leadership accountable. We intend to rebuild trust by demonstrating that leaders cannot cast aside constitutional rights or the law for political expediency. The flag and general officers are far from the only ones complicit in recent illegal activities, as a significant number of SES, that's Senior Executive Service, SES leaders and political appointees contributed. Evidence indicates that other executive agencies are engaging in illegal activity. However, as service members and veterans, we feel particularly responsible for the DoD, and, in accordance with our oaths, we will make every effort to demonstrate by example how an institution can put its own house in order. We, the undersigned, on behalf of hundreds of thousands of service members and the American people, while appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for guidance and purity of intention, mutually pledge to each other that we will do everything in our power, through lawful word and action, to hold accountable military leaders who failed to follow the law when their leadership and moral courage was most desperately needed. In the coming years, thousands within our network will run for Congress and seek appointments to executive branch offices, while those of us still serving on active duty will continue to put fulfilling our oaths ahead of striving for rank or position. For those who achieve the lawful authority to do so, we pledge to recall from retirement the military leaders who broke the law, and will convene court-martials for the crimes they committed. For those of us who attain legislative offices, we pledge to introduce legislation to remove all retirement income for the military leaders who were criminally complicit, and we will ensure none serve in or retire from the Senior Executive Service. This endeavor will be a continuous process with a long-term time horizon, but fulfilling our oaths to defend the Constitution requires just such persistent vigilance. Likewise, we are obligated and so commit to train those who come after us to fulfill their duty in achieving this accountability and safeguarding against such leadership failures hereafter. Our nation was once great because it was good. It was built on moral principles founded in natural law, and yet the recent acceleration of moral relativism has us headed towards a precipitous implosion. While all good things come to an end, we refuse to allow our nation to go quietly into the depths of decadence and decay. We promise to exhaust all moral, ethical, and legal means to restore the rule of law, and will begin by attempting to hold senior military leaders accountable. The Constitution is the supreme law of our land. We will fight to enforce that law and put an end to the two-tiered justice system. May future generations see our efforts, and God willing, may they also be recipients of the great gift of liberty that we have had the honor of safeguarding. Second page. So that's the declaration. Then there's kind of an addendum to it that I want to read to you as well. The American petition in support of the Declaration of Military Accountability. The love of liberty is interwoven in the soul of man and can never be totally extinguished. There are certain periods when human patience can no longer endure indignity and oppression. The spark of liberty then kindles into a flame. That was Samuel Adams. On 1 January 2024, a group of 231 service members and veterans ignited a new spark of liberty through a declaration of military accountability. In this declaration, the signers pledged to hold military leadership accountable for their violations of the law and constitutional rights over the last several years. This petition intends to kindle that spark of liberty into massive flame. To that end, we hereby pledge our support for the Declaration of Military Accountability and intend to expand this pledge to include holding accountable all those in governmental authority who have abused their positions in unlawful and corrupt ways. We, the people, are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As the Declaration of Independence notes, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. We no longer consent to be governed by those who use their positions to enrich themselves and to pursue un-American agendas at the expense of the governed. It is our birthright, therefore, as Americans, to demand and enact the changes we require in the government of our nation. In the spirit of our founding fathers and following the example set by the Declaration of Military Accountability, the signers of this petition pledge to hold our leaders accountable and remove those in each of the three branches of government who have broken our laws, trampled our rights, and denied our ability to live in freedom. I should have sent the video there. There's nothing I can say that would improve that. I will say that I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know how successful it will be, but there is a move afoot to improve, or at least try to stem the tide of the direction of our United States. And I am willing to sign up to it officially and be part of it in any way that I can. I was pretty excited when I found this. Guys, if you wish to know more about this is all up on their website. It's called militaryaccountability.com. There's currently 29,113 people in addition to the original signers who have now signed this petition. I am now one of them. Maybe you should be too. That's it. There's a little bright spot for us, guys. Talk to you later.